Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's training, Traveling Tips for Clients. My name is Mark Krebs. I'm a gold qualified consultant with Team Sunset, part of Team Empire, Team World Explorer, and Team Rising Tide. It's great to have you all here with me this evening. This is a really good training. I've put together 18 different tips that you can provide to your clients, whether they are traveling domestically or internationally, to help make their travel experience go a lot smoother. So I hope you guys find this informative, as well as educational. Just a little bit about me. I have been a travel agent for over 10 years. I've worked with 3 other host agencies, but I have found that Archer is absolutely the best host agency to work with. I have found that the level of support that I have received here and the level of camaraderie here is second to none. I've been with Archer and Evolution for almost 2.5 years, but I have been in the travel industry for nearly 20 years, first starting out by working with United Airlines and United Express up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where I worked every position possible, from working the ticket counter to slinging bags to working the gate. And then I also have worked for multiple hotel brands, working as a night auditor, front desk clerk, and even as a maintenance manager for several hotels. So I've got a lot of travel experience, and it's from those experiences that I decided to become a travel agent. So there are many different tips that you can provide to your clients, which will allow them to have the most enjoyable trip possible. These are my top 18 recommended tips for both domestic and international trips. Now, a lot of these are going to go together. Some are focused specifically on international trips, but most all of them, I'd say probably about 85 to 90% of them, are going to focus on both domestic and international trips. So, tip number 1 that you can give to your clients is to book early for the best deals. Now, as travel agents, we all know this because we get those deals in our email. So you want to reiterate to your clients that they want to secure their flights, accommodations, and tours well in advance for the best prices, especially during the peak travel seasons, the summer, around the holidays, times like that. That is where your mock bookings are going to come in real handy, guys, going on to your social media pages and even your in-person marketing or your flyers that you create to put out around your communities. Okay, so your mock bookings don't just have to be on social media. When it comes to marketing these trips, you can create a flyer or use an already created flyer from our vendors and suppliers to market these trips to your clients and post them in places like grocery store bulletin boards, local salons, nail salons, hair salons, local coffee shops, local libraries, anywhere with a community bulletin board. You guys can post these deals there and garner interest in your local community. And hopefully people will book with you. So get your name out there. Tip number 2 is that you want to tell your clients to pack light and smart. Okay? There is nothing worse than getting to the airport and saying your bag is overweight. Okay? Most airlines, if not all of them, have a 50-pound weight limit per bag. Okay? Especially when traveling internationally, because they have to get the weight and balance correct. And I know this from being an airline employee. You can use packing cubes and vacuum packs to stay organized. Make sure your clients are packing versatile clothing, and always tell them to leave a little room for souvenirs. Make sure you're telling them to not forget adapters if they're traveling internationally. So make sure to check on that information for them. If they're going to need converters for their electronic devices, such as cell phones, tablets, etc. Backup battery chargers if they're going to be out and about in the towns touring and they want to take pictures with their smartphones. The worst thing that could happen to them is they have a dead battery when they go to take that perfect picture for Instagram or Facebook. Okay. Backup battery packs are really, really useful to have. I've got 4 that I use from Walmart that cost me $20 a piece, and I get 6 charges out of them. So I carry 4 on me when I travel, and I get 24 charges out of them. And of course, don't forget your toiletries, because you never know where you're going to end up being that may or may not have the brands that you need or that you have a sensitivity to, and you can't get those brands that your body is not sensitive to in those foreign countries, or even in places in the States. You may have a hard time finding those brands. Tip number 3, make sure you're checking the travel requirements for your clients. Okay, this is a big one for us, especially for international travel. You want to be asking every single client, is your passport valid for at least 6 months beyond your travel date? Because most foreign countries will not allow you entry if your passport is not valid for at least 6 months past your departure date. The reason for that is in case of an emergency and you have to stay longer than your scheduled departure date, such as a medical emergency, and you are stuck in the hospital for 2 months, you're going to have to extend your stay on an emergency visa. And if your passport expires 1 month past that date, you're going to be stuck. Yeah, Yasmin, I can definitely show that second slide. Pack light and smart. Use packing cubes to stay organized. Pack versatile clothing. And always leave a little room for souvenirs. Don't forget adapters, chargers, and toiletries. And guys, if you want a copy of this PowerPoint, I will definitely send it to you. You guys just have to email me after the presentation, and my email address will be on a slide at the end. You need to check for any visa requirements for your clients going into foreign countries. In many cases, there are not going to be any. But if they're going into some place like Africa, Asia, China, Japan, places like that, there may be visa requirements depending on the length of stay. Okay? For domestic flights, make sure that your client is bringing a government-issued ID or a real ID. That is especially true now that that real ID deadline is coming up beginning in May of 2025. From what I am hearing, the government is not extending that mandate anymore. So everybody must have the real ID. And if you are not certain what a real ID is, it is a driver's license or ID card with a gold star at the top of it. Okay? That means that you are showing a federally compliant ID that has been verified for your nationality or for citizenship status with a birth certificate and social security card for U.S. residents. Okay? So any questions about that, you can go to tsa.gov, and I will put these links that I talk about into the description of the YouTube video as well. Tip number 4 that you want to definitely talk to your clients about: consider travel insurance. You never know what is going to happen on your trip. You always want to tell your clients that you want to protect your trip from the unexpected. Okay? This includes disruptions like cancellations, medical emergencies, or lost luggage. A comprehensive policy offers peace of mind. We offer an amazing policy through Tinleg. Okay? And every time you quote Tinleg to your clients, not only are they getting their choice of 8 different policy levels, you are also making 17% commission. Okay, let me say that again. Your clients are getting their choice of 8 different policy levels, and you are making 17% commission on the sale of that policy. What's even better is that we get paid that commission out the following month after that policy is purchased. Okay, we get that commission paid out prior to the trip. All of the 10-leg information, how to sign up and everything is in your travel cafe under USA, under suppliers, and then USA suppliers. And then you just click on 10-leg and it will walk you through the registration process. All you have to do is send an email to 10legsupport@archertravel.com with your name, your agent ID number, the email address that you would like to have registered with 10-leg, which should be the one that you registered with Archer, or your preferred supplier email if you have a second email that you get all your emails from your suppliers at. And you just say, I would like to sign up as a 10-leg sub-agent with Archer Travel. It's that simple. And I have a step-by-step 10-leg training that I did last week on my YouTube channel. I have had clients who have had to cancel their trip for work reasons, and it was covered 100%. And the county received their money back. This was a government-funded trip. The county received 100% of their money back on that trip. 3 different clients. Trip insurance is a must. And it is also a requirement that we ask every single client, do you want trip insurance? It is right there on the credit card authorization form. Yes, Tanya, and you still get your commission because it is protected with the trip insurance. It is, your commission is protected. Tip number 5, download offline maps and apps. You and your clients can use apps like Google Maps and Google Translate offline in case you lose internet access while traveling, especially in foreign countries. Okay? So if you don't have an international cell phone plan, and we'll talk more about internet plans a little bit later, but if you don't have access to Wi-Fi or an international cell phone plan, you can use Google Maps and Google Translate in an offline mode to be able to find your way around cities, or to be able to translate so you can speak with the locals of that country. It's a great tool to use. I have both on my phone. I've used both on my phone. I don't speak Spanish. I go to Mexico occasionally. Okay? I don't speak French. So if I was going to go to the French Polynesian Islands, that's what they speak there is French. I would be using that a lot. So download those types of apps to use offline. And you can still communicate with locals, and you can still get around the cities that you're visiting. Tip number 6, know the local currency and payment methods. So if you're on an international trip, familiarize yourself with the local currency and communicate that with your clients. So know the exchange rates right around the time that they're leaving. You can just Google what is the exchange rate for whatever country for US dollars. And make sure to remind your clients to inform their banks that they are traveling internationally so that they can avoid any credit card issues. Also, let your clients know that they should always carry some local currency or cash for places that may not accept cards. This is especially true in the Caribbean. There are a lot of places around there, local vendors and whatnot, that do not take credit or debit cards. And they would rather be paid in cash, which I totally understand. So make sure that your client does have some local cash on them, and they can get that usually at the hotel or resort they're staying at. They can usually take an advance out, or they can usually convert U.S. currency to the local currency at their hotel at the current exchange rate minus a fee. Tip number 7, stay informed on safety and health guidelines. Make sure to check for any destination-specific health advisories, vaccination requirements, or safety tips before traveling, especially during times of crisis or pandemic. Okay? If you weren't in the travel industry or a travel agent during COVID, that is a great example. If you tried to travel during COVID, you know. If you were a travel agent during COVID, you definitely know. COVID shut everything down. The travel industry changed. For at least 4.5 months, it changed. And then all sorts of new safety and health regulations went into effect for another year at a minimum. Because of the masking regulations, the hand sanitizer regulations, blocking off middle seats on airliners, et cetera, et cetera. There are still enhanced cleaning practices involved, and you can find out about those on hotel and resort websites. But make sure to check those specific health advisories, and especially the vaccination requirements if you are going to a country like Africa or down into Central or South America. Okay, they may require proof of certain vaccinations. You can always refer your clients to infectious disease and travel medicine clinics in their local area, within their local healthcare systems. Stay up to date on safety briefings from the U.S. Department of State. Okay, like right now, there's a level 3 travel advisory for Jamaica, which means there's a higher rate of crime going on, especially involving tourists. So there's a travel advisory out for Jamaica. Stay up to date on stuff like that. And again, I'll put the links that you guys need to know about in the YouTube recording and in the description of the YouTube video. Tip number 8 should be a no-brainer, but some people forget about it. Arrive early at the airport. For domestic flights, at least 2 hours early, depending on the airport. For international flights, 3 hours. This will help your clients avoid unnecessary stress and allows them enough time for security checks and boarding. Okay, there are exceptions to this rule. The 2-hour minimum depends on the airport you're going out of. If you are flying out of Orlando, okay, theme park capital of the world, and you are flying out on a popular airline such as Southwest, and we'll talk more about TSA pre-check and everything here in a little while, but let's just say you have to go through the main security line and your flight leaves at 9 a.m., you need to be advising your clients to get there at 6 at the latest, because those security lines are going to take an hour to an hour and a half minimum to get through, because everybody is trying to go out on those early flights and security gets backed up. Okay. So that is for a domestic flight. Orlando's an international airport. Add another hour if it's an international flight, if they're going out of that specific airport. If that is their departure airport, this is not for a layover. If this is their main departure airport, add another hour to it. Jill, the itinerary travel organization app that I can recommend is TravelJoy. That is what I use. It builds everything for you. It puts in the cruise itineraries for you. It will track your client's flights starting 3 days before. It will put in hotel resort information for you. It does so much stuff.
Okay,
And there's
Travel Joy.
TravelJoy.
Okay.
And I will put a referral link that I have into the description of the YouTube video that will give you guys 50% off for your first 3 months, which will make it $15 a month for your first 3 months. It's $30 a month normally, but it will make it $15 a month. The other one that most people use is called Travify. It does some things that TravelJoy does not, but it is $45 a month. So I've used both. I prefer TravelJoy.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Abigail, great question about how much time should there be for a layover. Minimum, in my book, hour and a half. Minimum. Depending on what airport they're laying over in. Atlanta, no less than 90 minutes. Chicago O'Hare, JFK, LaGuardia, no less than 90 minutes. I would say use that as a rule of thumb, but try not to give them a 5, 6, 7 hour layover if you can. That's too long. I'd say anywhere between 90 minutes and 3 hours is acceptable. Yeah, Brandon, I've got 9 more slides to go, but this is all being recorded. Tip number 9, have your clients keep copies of important documents. Photocopy or digitally save important documents like your passport, ID, any visas they need, and their travel itinerary. Store them in different bags in case of loss or theft. Okay? This is especially important if they lose their passports overseas and they have to go to an embassy to get a new passport. They will have a copy of it on their phone. Same thing with the visa. Okay? The travel itinerary, I talked about TravelJoy. You can send that to them in a link to their email, and they would have it right there. So make sure they have copies. Tip number 10, be mindful of local customs and etiquette. Help your clients research the local culture, customs, and etiquette, especially for dress codes, tipping, and greetings. This will help them blend in and avoid unintentional offense. Okay? So research what a proper greeting is for your clients to give to a local. In Asia, it's a bow. In the Caribbean, it may be a handshake. It may be something else. Do the research. Provide them that information. Tip number 11, stay connected with a SIM card or a mobile plan. That's supposed to say or not of. Tell your clients they can purchase a local SIM card for their phone or have them upgrade to an international mobile plan to avoid exorbitant roaming fees while staying connected with loved ones or for emergencies. Okay? This is important too, because a lot of times people get hit with roaming fees on cruises because they don't think about the Wi-Fi plans not having the capability to call on like WhatsApp or another Wi-Fi based calling program. There are some carriers such as AT&T that have a Cruise Connect plan. I believe AT&T and Verizon both have it. So talk to your clients and let them know to look into that with their mobile phone carrier. Tip number 12, pack a travel first aid kit. Bring a small kit with basic first aid items like Band-Aids, pain relievers such as Advil and Tylenol, antiseptic, and any prescribed medications in their original containers, especially for international trips where getting these items may be difficult. The key words there are in their original containers. It is against federal law to have prescribed medication out of their original containers because law enforcement, TSA, Customs and Border Protection must verify the passenger holding them is the prescription holder. So you can't take them in a pill organizer. If it's prescription, it must be in the original prescription container. And make sure you have enough for at least 2 to 3 days of extra travel at a minimum. Tip number 13, register with your embassy for international travel. Tanya, yes, if it is for a child and the adult has that, that's perfectly fine because the child is traveling. Okay, so registering with your embassy for international travel. This is really important, guys. Enroll in your country's embassy program, e.g. STEP for U.S. travelers, so that the embassy can assist you in an emergency situation or in case natural disasters happen while abroad. Okay, so think about a terrorist attack in London or what happened in Paris, the Paris subway attack right before the Olympic opening ceremonies this year. Okay, the U.S. Embassy in Paris assisted U.S. residents and Olympians during that time who were enrolled in STEP. It's free. It just gives the U.S. Embassy a heads up that there are American citizens in that country on vacation, and this is their contact information, where they're staying, what their itinerary is. They're not going to track you, but this gives them a heads up that there are people there who may need to be contacted in case of an emergency. Tip number 14, check for time zone differences. Make note of time zone changes, especially when scheduling tours, transportations, or meetings. A quick check on your smartphone or travel app can avoid missed connections, especially true when you are flying with layover. Okay, cruise time is different as well. If you are passing through time zones while cruising, make sure to check the shift time prior to debarking for any shore excursion. If you're doing anything on your own, make sure to find out from a crew member if the ship is going to depart at a certain time, local time or ship's time. That way you are not considered a pier runner and missing your boat. Tip number 15, use a secure luggage tag and tracker. Attach a clear, secure luggage tag to your bags with updated contact information, and also consider using a tracking device like an AirTag or tile tracker to locate lost luggage easily. I have heard of so many successful reuniting stories of lost luggage thanks to Apple AirTags and tile trackers and all sorts of Bluetooth and GPS enabled trackers. When the airline couldn't find the bags, the clients were able to pinpoint the bags and point them out to the airlines where they exactly were. And the clients were able to get them back in a timely fashion. Also, by having your contact information attached to your bag, you're allowing the airlines to contact you without having to dig through your bags for the contact information. But when in doubt, tell your clients to put their contact information on the inside and the outside of the bag, just in case the outside luggage tag gets lost or damaged and it becomes unreadable. That's a tip from an airline employee. Tip number 16, enroll in a secure flight program. If your clients are frequent flyers, whether that is domestic or internationally, by enrolling in programs such as TSA PreCheck for frequent domestic travelers and Global Entry for international travelers, they will cut down wait times at both security checkpoints and at customs for international flights. Okay? TSA PreCheck is $78 for 5 years. That's the initial cost. And then it's $70 to renew for 5 years. The process is simple. It takes 20 minutes. You fill out an online application. You go into a processing center. You get your photo and fingerprints taken. You show either your passport or your birth certificate and your government issued ID. Boom, you're done. Most travelers get their known traveler number, their KTN number within 3 to 5 days, but during times of high volume, it can take up to 60. Mine took 58 days to come to me. That is for TSA PreCheck. It will cut your wait time down to about 5 to 10 minutes in the security line. You do not have to take your 311 compliant liquids out of your bag, your laptop out of your bag, your belt off, your shoes off, or your jacket off. Because you have been pre-vetted and pre-screened by the TSA and the FBI. And you are not a threat to aviation security. That is what they are looking for. Same thing for Global Entry, except Global Entry is $100 for a year for international travelers. It does include access to TSA PreCheck, but it is a much more in-depth screening process and requires an in-person interview at a enrollment center. And all of this information is found on tsa.gov. Again, I will put the links into the YouTube video description. Tip number 17. Yes, you guys absolutely can share these tips on your social media platforms. Absolutely. Tip number 17. If your clients are traveling internationally, have them download the Mobile Passport Control app. Check when you are booking their tickets to see if they're returning to the U.S. through a location which offers pre-clearance using the MPC app. Currently, there are 52 locations located in Canada, the U.S., and the Caribbean that offer pre-clearance using the MPC app. All you do with that, the day you are returning, you fill out your customs documentation electronically. You take a selfie through the MPC app. When you land in your connecting city, say Dallas, Fort Worth, you submit the information through the app. You will get a QR code to scan. You go to the MPC line. You scan that code. You go right to a dedicated customs and immigration booth, get your passport stamped. You're done. You're back into the country within 10 to 15 minutes. That cuts an hour to possibly 3 hours off of your wait time in customs. Tell me that's not a time saver for your clients, guys. That is a huge time saver. This is available to everyone who is a US citizen, a Canadian citizen, and certain visa holders and permanent residents. And again, all that information, the links to all that information will be in the YouTube video description. Finally, tip number 18, and this is for all of us as travel agents. Make sure that you are available for your client. As a travel agent, you always want to make sure that you are available to your client whenever they are traveling. Make sure that they have a way to contact you at all times when they are on their trip. I can't tell you guys how many times I've had clients contact me at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, my time, when they are traveling internationally. Okay. And it's 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon over in the UK. And they've had an issue. Think about what would happen if I did not answer my phone. They would be stuck. They would be frustrated. They may not come back to me for business. This is our job. These are our career. This is our career. These are our clients, and we want them back as repeat clients. If you are going on vacation yourself during the time you have clients traveling, ask a coworker, ask a business partner, ask your mentor, ask a gold, ask your platinum if you are close to them, to see if they would be a point of contact for your client should anything come up. And if they agree to it, give them all the information so that they can help work any problems out for your client. Case in point, yesterday I worked for 7 hours trying to get my clients into a rental car who were in Cincinnati, Kentucky. I was dealing with an issue from 2 days ago with Enterprise. I got them into a new rental car. I'm now working out compensation with Enterprise. And I will continue to work on that compensation from Enterprise even long after they are home from that trip. So make sure that you guys are available for your clients at all times while they are traveling. I have 3 separate groups of clients on 3 separate trips right now. I'm not getting much sleep because of it. Because my policy is to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for my clients when they're traveling. And I personally believe that should be every agent's policy. So, are there any questions that you guys have for me right now? And feel free to unmute yourselves or put them into the chat.
This isn't necessarily a question, but I do want to say I appreciate this training. This has been very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Brandy.
Yes, the same. And I was just going to ask, how long of a time frame until this is available on YouTube?
Within the next hour.
Oh, wow. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, as soon as it processes through, as soon as it downloads and as soon as it processes through, I'll have it up and I'll have it out to all the leaders and it'll be posted on my YouTube. So guys, here's all of my contact information. Please feel free to screenshot this. If you want a copy of this PowerPoint presentation or the link to the Canva, I did create this in Canva. I can definitely send this to you. Please email me at 72andsunnytravel@outlook.com. I will be more than happy to send this to you guys. Otherwise, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You guys can follow me on Facebook as well. And then there is my YouTube channel address also. But I want to thank you guys very much for being here, taking part of your Tuesday evening, for being here with me. Again, my name is Mark Krebs. I'm a gold qualified consultant with Team Sunset. I do my trainings on Tuesdays. Next week's training is a very special one. It will be with the Marriott World Center Orlando, along with the Swan and Dolphin Resorts at the Epcot Resort Center and Marriott Orlando Village. That training will not be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. It will be held on this Zoom at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and there will be giveaways of free hotel night stays at that training, guys. So you don't want to miss that one, for sure. So, but again, any questions, guys, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. So again, thank you all very much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.